Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be building an invoice application in ReactJS and Tailwind CSS. So for this first video, what I want to do is I just want to build out the UI. So I'm going to be hard coding everything, so everything from all of this, and then in the next videos we're going to be adding the functionalities slowly by slowly, and then by the end of it all I hope to convert this into a desktop application. Okay, so I have this open just to show you what our finished product is supposed to look like. And I'm going to be closing this because it seems to be messing up with my RAM quite a bit. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to mention that if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you're always notified of new uploads. Okay, so to get started, you would need to create a new React application. So you can open up your terminal, and then I'm just going to cd into my desktop and into my work folder, and then I'm going to say npx create react app, and I'm going to call it invoicer-v2, but I'm not going to let this run because this is already running. I already have a folder named this. I already canvassed my React application, but once you run this, then it's going to create a new React application for you. Now, if you try to run npx and it gives you an error, then you should probably check whether you have Node.js installed by saying node -- version, and it should give you the node version that you're running. And you can do npx -- version as well, which will give you the npx version that you're running. Now, if you don't have either of these, then you can head over into nodejs.org and you can install Node.js in your system. Okay, now I want to mention that if you want access to the finished code, then I'm going to leave this link to the repository in the description. So you can head over to github.com/sancthomas/invoicer_v2, okay? And this is very important because I have a repository called Invoicer, okay? That's a different one. It backfired. So invoicer-v2 is what we're going to be working on, okay? And this is the repository, and I'm going to be committing this regularly as we progress with the video. So what I've done is I've opened up VS Code in the newly created folder invoicer-v2, and I'm also running my dev server on localhost 3000. Okay, so if I go into localhost 3000, then this is what I have on the screen. That's very important that you be running your server. And then I'm just going to place this side by side, and then I'm going to close this. Okay, and I think we should be ready to begin. But before we do that, actually what I need to do is I need to install one dependency, or rather two dependencies actually. The first one I'm going to say npm install uuid, and then the second one is called react icons. So let this install, and then we should just go ahead and begin right away. So inside my source folder, I'm going to grab this, the app.css, app.test.js, the logo, report web, and the setup tests, and I'm just going to delete these files because we don't really need them. So delete. Okay, and once we delete those files, then we're going to get some errors. So let's clear up those errors. We have deleted this file, so we don't need it, and we don't need the import as well. We can save this, and then we can head over into app.js, and we can remove these two imports at the top, and then we can remove this header inside here, and then we can remove this div to return an empty fragment. Okay, fantastic. And then at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say actually this is fine as it is because we technically just want to build out the UI, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out everything inside this app.js, and then in the next videos we're going to be refactoring the code slowly by slowly, okay? And the reason why I'm doing that actually is just to show you how you can get your components when you're building out very complex applications, because this is what happened to me when I was testing this out in the first place. Okay, so I'm just going to return, let me return a main here, and actually I should probably link Tailwind CSS as we start. So let's head over into cdn.js, so cdn.js.com, and then let's grab Tailwind. Come on, Tailwind. Okay, so grab this link tag, and then inside public index.html, then I'm just going to paste it inside here. And actually let's change this title to invoicer, and then let's say create invoices to clients, something like that. And then let's remove this comment, and let's remove this comment as well as the manifest JSON actually, so everything up to here. And then let's remove, I'm going to change this in a later video actually, so there's no need for this. Okay, that should be fine. Let's place this back to the side. And yeah, we should be ready to begin. Fantastic. Okay, so in app.js, let's turn a main, and then inside here, let's have a section. Okay. Emmet always does this when I'm recording. I don't know why. Okay, so this section is going to have an h2, actually, sorry, not a section, but a header. This header is going to have a div, and inside this div, we're going to have an h2 that says invoicer. And then outside of this div, we're going to have another div, okay, another div, and this is going to be a ul with 3 list items, so li times 3. This first one is going to say print, and actually these are going to be buttons, by the way, so this is going to be print, download, and send. Okay, so let's save this. Let's see what we have. We're going to have that. Okay, let me just place a comment that says header, and then below this, let's say end of header, like so. And then inside here, once again, inside our main, let's return a section. This section is going to say, let's say something like your details. Yeah, your details inside here, and then let's say end of your details. So this means inside here we need to have an input with a type of text, okay, with a name of text, with an ID of text, with a placeholder that says enter your name. Set this to required as well. And then below this, let's have an h2. And actually, do you know what I've just realized? We don't need the inputs inside here. I've just realized that, and I'm going to show you why. So inside here, we're going to be targeting technically the name, right? So let me just place in my name for now. Just hard code it inside. Now, what I mean is I don't want this input to be inside here, because when I click on this print, I don't want the input to be visible, right, on the print document. And actually, let me just show you what I mean. If I convert this into a button, and then let's say on click, let's just say handle print, create a function called handle print, and then above this, let's say const handle print, set this to an arrow function, and let's just say window.print. Okay, so let's see. So where's the print button? Print here. Forgot the other text. So print, then it should give me this window right here, and then notice how it still says these 3 items, and then it also shows the input, right? Now I don't want the input to be visible inside here, so technically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, where is it, what is I doing? Okay, so inside here I'm going to remove this input. I'm going to remove this input because we're going to be adding it inside a separate component, and then we're going to be passing down the props inside this our main component, and then we're going to be accessing it inside our h2 and so on and so forth. So I'm going to remove the input, and then below this we're going to have a paragraph that says this is the address, so your address, like so. Okay, and then this is your details, so we're going to create another one that says client details, like so. Let's say end of client details. So let's return a section. This section is going to have an h2 as well that says client's name, and then below this we're going to have a paragraph that says client's address, come on, like so. So save this, and then below this, once again, remember we're just building up the UI because we want to know how it's going to look like. So below this we're going to have the dates. Okay, so end of dates. So let's return an article. This article is going to have a ul with 3 list items. So this is going to be the today's date, so today's date. Okay, and then it's going to say due date. What is it? Let's say due date. What else does an invoice say? I've forgotten. Okay, so this is not today's date. This is this should say, come on, this should say invoice number, and then this should say invoice date, so invoice date, and then this should say due date. So Fantastic. Let's save this. Let's see what you have. And we're going to have this. Okay, looking nice, looking nice. And then now below this, we're going to have our table. Okay, so table, technically our item description table, but that's okay. So end of table. And we're going to create a table inside here, which I don't want to do now because I really hate dealing with tables. And then below this, we're going to have the notes section. So notes. Okay, and then let's say end of notes. And the reason why I'm placing so many comments is just because we're going to be creating separate components for all of these. Okay, so end of notes, let's have a section. And this section is going to have a text area once again, because I don't want to add inputs and text areas inside here. So we're going to have a text area, and then let's just have a paragraph that says notes to the client. These are notes like how to pay, where to pay, your bank account details, and so on and so forth, just in case they miss them at the top. Okay, so notes to the client, and this should be having that. So end of notes, and then below this, let's have our footer, and then let's say end of footer. Now the footer is going to be interesting. Footer. Emmet isn't working. So the footer is going to say we're going to have a UL. Okay, UL with, let's say, how many list items? Let's say about, let's say 5. Okay, so this one is going to say your name, okay, which we're going to get from this. Okay, so when we pass down the props, we're going to be accessing the props that we pass inside here. Okay, so this is going to be your name, this is going to be your email address, this is going to be phone number. Okay, and then this is going to be bank, this is going to be bank account, or rather account number, bank account number, right? And then probably we should add another one that says website. And then once we have website, probably what I should do is between bank and account number, I should have account holder name, or rather account holder. I think that would be descriptive enough. Okay, so let's save this. Let's see what we have on the screen, and we have this looking ugly. So let's style this out. Let's style this out. Remember, this is the desktop application first, so I don't really intend it to be working on mobile screens all that well, but we're going to be styling it for mobile screens as well. So in the header, let's have a class name of flex and flex column, and items center and justify center, and margin bottom of 5. Okay, so that we're going to have that. Let's go inside this UL, give this a class name of flex, item center, and justify between, and then let's say flex wrap, so that they're going to automatically go into the next line once this width is completely full. And then these two are going to be buttons, so let's add a button here that says download. And then let's remove this. Let's have a button that says send. So for the send button, we're going to create a model. For the download button, we're just going to say download the invoice. Okay, so this first button is going to have a class name of btn-print. Okay, so a class name of btn and btn-print. So let me just copy this and paste it inside here. This is going to say btn download, and then this is going to say btn send. Okay, so save this, and nothing really changes because we're going to be styling out the buttons later. And then for this section 1, let's say what I want to do is say class name of flex, and flex end should be the one. Not flex end, sorry, but items end should be the class. Go to the left, come on, really. Or justify end, items center, and justify end. There we go. And then let's say flex column. Come on, don't do that. Items end now. Flexbox can be a bit confusing. Okay, so items end and justify end, which will take it to the end. And I've just realized that probably this main should have a padding all around. So class name of padding of 5 all around. Push everything inwards just a bit on small screens. And then let's say that for medium screens, then the max width should be medium. Let me see how this would look. Too small. Let's say, let me say for large screens, then the max width should be large. Still too small. XL. Okay, and then let's say for large screens, let's say MX Auto, push it to the center. There we go. And then probably what I should do is I should go into the body, into my index, the index.css, and I should give the body a background color of F1, 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 a very slight gray. There we go. And then what I'm going to do now is go inside my main, right inside here, and say BG white. And we should have that looking fantastic. And probably now, instead of this being a margin, a padding, sorry, I should make it a margin so that the white background pushes inwards, like so. Okay. And then actually, let me just add a padding all around as well, so that this is not all the way to the edge. Web development is a lot of trial and error. So let's have a rounded border. Let's have a slight box shadow, like so. Looking fantastic. Looking fantastic, just so that it looks a bit elevated. So we're going to have that, and then let's go inside this, where is it, this h2. So for our logo, give this a class name of font bold. Okay, so font bold, let's say uppercase, let's say tracking wide, and let's say text dash 4XL. Okay, we're going to change these colors later, don't worry about it. Let's say margin bottom of 3, pushed away from these 3 buttons. Okay, and then let's go inside, and actually, you know what, probably I should have styled this out inside my CSS, but that's okay. We're going to refactor quite a bit. And actually, let me change this to an H1. Okay, so your name, your address, let's deal with, so the client name and client address are going to remain on this side, and actually they're fine as they as it is. And this is the details, this is client details, so this is fine. Probably let me style these 2 H2s because I want them to be bigger. So let's say text dash 4XL, let's say uppercase. See how that looks. Okay, so now this isn't really good on small screens, right? So let's change this to text XL. So we're going to have that. Okay, fantastic. Now inside this article, let's give this article a class name of margin top of 5. And actually, I've just remembered that this section should have a margin bottom of 5. Actually, margin top of 5, just so that it pushes away from this, so that there's just a bit of spacing between this and this. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did on this. We're going to do the same thing here. And probably this should be on bigger screens, but no, let's just do it here. So I'm going to copy these styles, copy these, and paste them inside here. Actually, is that correct? Okay, there we go. That being said, actually we don't really need the flex column here. Actually, we don't need the flex column because this only has one item inside, which is the UL. Okay, if you were styling the list items inside the UL, then we would need the flex column. Okay, so we don't need that. And then let's say margin top, actually let's say margin Y of 5, so margin on the top and bottom. Fantastic. And then we're going to grab this, place it inside a span, and grab this, place it inside a span, and then grab this, place it inside a span. And then let's grab all of these spans, and then let's just say class name of font bold. Okay, so the span is going to be font bold, and then the text inside here, what we're going to have inside here as the date, is not going to be font bold. Unless I'm doing that wrongly, I should be outside of the span, right inside here. So the text is not going to be bold in font. Okay, just so that it brings a bit of a hierarchy, which is much it actually looks much better. So let me remove this. Okay, fantastic. And then let's go into notes to the client. Actually, we don't really need to style anything inside here, but let me just have a div inside this table that says this is the table. Okay, just to separate it out, let's give this div a class name of margin Y of 5, like so. So notes to the client, and then give this section a class name of margin bottom of 5, push away from that. And then let's go inside the footer, and inside this UL, give this a class name of flex and flex wrap. Okay, and then let's say items dash center and justify dash between, justify between. Okay, not between but center, sorry, center, so that we're going to have this. Fantastic. So let's just add some dummy data inside here. Let's add some dummy data. Let's say this. For your email, let's say gmail.com. Phone number, let's say 0712345678. Bank, let's say bank account. Account holder, that's me. Account number, let's change this to 1234 123456789. And for the website, let's do this. TS, come on, I can't spell my own website. Let's see .ke. Okay. Now remember that once we do, actually, you know what? Let me just do it right now. Let me not postpone it. Let's have grab this, place it inside a span. Grab this, place it inside a span. Now, technically, let me just mention it by the way. Technically, you can grab this and place it inside a bold tag, and it would still work. Okay, it would still work as you would expect. Okay, but I don't want to do that because I want to have a bit of leeway when styling this out. So that's why I like using spans. Okay, so span, and instead of using the bold tag, if you would want, you can actually use the strong tag as well. It still works the very same way, but I still like using spans. So span, and then come on, span. Okay, grab this, place it inside a span, and then finally grab this and place it inside a span. Now let's grab all of these spans, and by that I'm adding multiple cursors by holding down the Alt key and then clicking on where I want the cursor to be. So right there, and right there. Give all of these a class name of font dash bold. Fantastic. Okay, this is looking nice for the initial UI, but then this is a bit too small actually. You know what, let me just change this. Let me change, where is it, this. Let me remove this. Let me check something. Okay, so let's say that for XL screens, then the max width should be 4XL. And then let's say for XL screens, then let's say the MX should be auto. Okay, so we're going to have that. Now, once we start adding in all the items in our application, then this is going to fill up and it's going to go to the bottom. So don't worry about this too much. And then probably one thing that I should do is reset some of this styling for the header, where I'm going to say that for large screens, let's say for XL screens, then the flex should go back to row, like so. And then for XL screens, then let's say justify between, we should take this to the end. Fantastic. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to start dealing with more of our UI and then starting to add a bit more of our functionality. So see you in the next video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you're always notified of new uploads.